What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham. You're watching the Idol Breakdown. I'm the former runner-up of American Idol. We have even more contestants this episode. So let's dive in and start with Jay Marie.
Right now, he's probably up behind her with the pool stick showing.
She's from Brooklyn. I love her personality, personally. She starts singing, and she's got some good stuff going on. She has some above average capabilities vocally with her control and her runs, but she's got this really quick vibrato that sounds shaky, makes her voice sound shaky, which is typically absolutely nerves. Really nervous, that's exactly what happens. It got better as it went on, her song. She gave me some Jessie J vibes near the end. I'm just going to see if that tone straightens out in Hollywood Week, or if that's her voice all the time. If that's her voice all the time, that is something that I would work on with her, is to straighten that voice to nice, even, smooth tones, so then she can do the runs and do all the emotion and the communication. Zaylee. Zaylee, we have another "what were you guys hearing" moment. And let me know, are you guys thinking, Clark, what are you hearing when I say? I thought her strength was her belting and her songwriting. And the judges said, do you have a big belty voice? No. I'm like, that's the wrong answer. Yes, that's exactly what she has. She opened up into this beautiful belting chest voice it was in a pure yell, but it sounded great and emotional and wonderful, and I loved it. And then all this richness of tone was in there too when she would move on to other parts of that same line in her belting. So her belting isn't just one-dimensional, it's multi-dimensional, and it's great. And the song was great. So Luke, yeah, well, it kind of sounds like a 14-year-old song. All right, now maybe Luke has more of an authority to talk about songwriting than I do, or any of us. But it did not sound like, oh, that's cute. It sounded like, whoa, you take the good, I'll take the you. Maybe it was used. Either way, it's a great line. Well, which is a note. Like, everyone should know what you're saying. But the song was great. I thought she was great. They were like, roll the dice. I'll roll the dice. It's like, what are you talking about? You've rolled the dice with some people. Zaylee is not one of them. Thank goodness she goes through. Another thing that is not a risk at all and does not harm you in any way, shape, or form is hitting the thumbs up button. Only if you like it. Only if you like this video. If you like this video, it just makes sense and it helps me a lot. If you don't like it, then you wouldn't be watching, right? Or maybe you would. Just don't hit anything if you don't like this. Nikki.
I'm not enough, but I still say.
We get just a little bit of Nikki. She sounds great, and she's laughing and says, I killed that. Which you could take it as like gross, arrogant, or like that's adorable and she's being authentic. And we all know when we do well. And she's very excited that she killed it in this opportunity. And I agree with her. With a little bit that I heard, I thought she was great too. We have a little bit of Caroline.
Well, there is a house in New Orleans.
Sings Rising Sun. Huge talent. The last note was perfect pitch. Really impressive. Her tone is just a little shallow to me. There's not a lot of depth and richness there. It sounds almost shouty to me. But that might come with age and or more breath support. A lot of times, if you think of like here and up as the paper plane that you craft, you make this responsible for your tone and your whispering or your full resonance or whatever it is. Make this all crafty here. And then your gut is actually what propels the paper plane. So a paper plane doesn't have any form of motor on it. It doesn't have any propulsion in itself. It's just dependent on the wind that carries it. That's this and our gut. Our gut is the air that lifts the paper plane. So a lot of times, if this is all right, but it just doesn't seem to be flying as clear as we want it to be. You just need more air underneath that paper plane, and that could really fix that problem. Claire, come on.
I'm not going.
Come on.
No, 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 no way.
Ooh.
No, 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 no way.
Man, I am a big fan of Claire. She sang one of my all-time favorite songs. Maybe my all-time favorite vocal performance ever is Jennifer Holliday singing this song. You can find it on YouTube, just Jennifer Holliday, and I'm telling you. And it's this like awards show for Broadway or something like that. And she comes in there and she starts singing it as like a special thing. Dude, if you want to hear one of the greatest singers in your whole life, just go watch that video. And I guarantee she has seen that video and she's been inspired the way I have been inspired. Because she even does similar like facial expressions as Jennifer Holliday does. And I love it. I think she's got great taste. I think she's crushing. She's got a huge voice. Her tone gets a little shallow in places, kind of like Claire's, where I would want more breath support to just round it out. And I'm telling you, that's really all it takes, is just remembering that the gas pedal is in your gut. Every powerful note is a powerful breath, which I say on repeat in the Vocal Foundations course. It's like a 30-minute course that just goes over these basic, easy fix things that just take singers from here to here in an instant. It's just made up of all those little immediate easy fixes like breath support. Let's talk about Landon.
Don't pay tonight.
Landon, incredibly charming. I believed every word he sang. I felt like the song might have been too high, and he fell off the tracks a couple times. And when he went off, he was all the way off, just pitch-wise. But when he was on, he was really on. And overall, I really liked him and if I was a judge, I would have had zero hesitation in sending him through. Sweet kid, wonderful story. Or when he said that his mom was like, no, you just can't sing. You got to tell the story. You got to tell the story. You got to tell the story. That can sound cliche, and it can sound like I'm a broken record from you guys because I say that almost every single week. But I promise you, that is the difference between hearing a performance and going, wow, that was great, to hearing a performance and saying, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. My whole life has changed. And he's given me that element a bit of, I'm going to tell the story and I'm going to believe fully. Now, if we could just get everything right on track and not sing too high, not get too emotional into it where you get lost a bit, we'll be in really good shape. Gabe. He's the guy with the black tank top. Okay, I don't know Gabe, and we just see a tiny little snippet that the producers deemed appropriate for us to see, for us to get an impression of who Gabe is. And on that tiny little snippet of me not knowing who he is at all, it feels to me like he knows he's very good looking and has a beautiful smile. And he thinks he's a stud, and he is a stud. But when you see someone, like, to wear a black tank top to the audition. Now, I'm going to tell you now, I'm probably judging too hard and looking too hard into this. But to wear a black tank top and just the way he presented himself. Okay, this guy knows that one of his strengths is stud muffin. And he's not wrong. Great looking guy, beautiful eyes, great smile, and he sounds great. You know, if you have it, use it. But there's this little element of like, man, it's even more attractive in general when someone has this sparkle about them and it's almost like they're not aware of it. But it seems like he's aware and he's really pushing into it, leaning into it, which can come across as corny. And that's where I lean with Gabe. Now, that being said, I could be totally wrong. He could be like, I just like tank tops, and he could be the nicest, sweetest, most humble guy. could easily be the truth. It just seemed like to me that he thinks he's a stud, knows he's a stud, and that can be a little off-putting. There is some good stuff there vocally. He sounded really great. So I would love for him to turn out and just really run the competition and do well. Let me know if am I alone in this? Did it come across that way to you guys? Or are you guys like, Clark, you're just jealous because he's just a stud? Ethan Singer.
When you put your arms around me, baby, there is nothing in this world I can do. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, when you come into audition for anything, you come to sing, my advice is to never say anything that makes you sound like you're good. For example, Ethan came in and was like, hi, I'm a professional singer. I play all around all the time. I'm a pro. All right, well, you just set the bar really high for yourself. Now you pretty much met it. Like when I heard him play, I was like, oh, yep, that checks out. That totally makes sense. But I don't want you to tell me that. It's like you're telling me the spoiler of the movie. Don't tell me that. I want to discover that myself and be like, holy cow, this guy's amazing. Because also I think that's why Luke was really hard on him. I say hard on him. Why he was yelling at him during his entire performance. Because, oh, okay, if you're experienced, like then you can take this. That I'm going to coach you and yell at you and do all these things. Which he took really well. And got some good stuff out of there. And I really like Luke doing that. And I bet you Ethan was happy he did it as well. But don't let us know that you're really good. Presentation is always better than saying what you can do. Just show us. Just be the nice guy. We're all going to know that you're a beast when you start singing and playing. He is by far the best guitar player of the season. And we've got some good ones. Anna. Okay, so American Idol used to have, you know what? This is fine. We have to come to grips with this, and many people don't. This is a television show. The producers' jobs are to make the most entertaining show that will get the most viewers. If they don't accomplish that, they will lose their job. This is how they provide for their family. So, in the olden days of American Idol, they used to, I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure this is how it worked, just from logical, deductive reasoning. They would send people through 4 or 5 rounds of auditions who weren't good. Then they would get to the judges. This is why they'd get to the judges, sing, be horrible. The judges would be laughing, and the singers would be shocked. And we'd always be like, how do they not know they're bad? They don't know they're bad because they just went through 5 levels of auditions and made it through, flying through to the next round over and over and over. That's positive reinforcement after positive reinforcement of the highest level. And then they finally get to the judges, and the judges are laughing. And they're like, wow, you're awful. And we're like, how did they think that? So that's one way to get entertaining auditions. The other is to get someone like Anna, or the guy who was in a black tux, or like different contestants that we've had this season that don't fit the mold at all. We know there's no chance that they're going to go far in the competition. It's like, what are they doing? Why are they here? They're just here to shake up the show a little bit. Just give a little something to us. She was surprising. Her opera stuff was actually really, 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 really good. Most of the time, and I might get hate from my opera fans here, if there are any of those, opera singers are a little loose on the pitch. They do this, they just do all of these frilly things and nothing's really on pitch. Her pitch was fire before the song, like the track started. Her pitch was, I was like, yo, her resonance was crazy. Her pitch was awesome. I was like, okay, still, no world does this go through with American Idol and Hollywood Week and stuff like this. It's just impossible, but dang, that's impressive. Then the track came on and she gave us these little eyes and like with her mouth, like that. And that was really funny. Her voice got a little off on that, like the pitch. It started doing the opera, like frilly things where it's like, I don't even know what note you're trying to hit here, but it was entertaining. And so instead of me going, this is stupid, I'm just going to say I know the goal here, and it's to be entertaining. And was she entertaining? Yes. Let's talk about Trenton.
Don't you know? Don't you know that it's wrong?
Trenton, if you're from the South, Trenton is a pilot. Very charming, good-looking guy, really going for it, which is so admirable. And the judges are not letting him walk through. They're doing a lot. Luke is going up there, shaking him, saying, come on. And Carrie's like, and thinking that this would help him. And maybe it did. But she's thinking, just sing to me. I'm your number one fan. And then she starts like smiling and making eye contact with him and like grooving to the song. Obviously trying to like make him feel comfortable. But what she's got to realize is she is a very beautiful woman, very successful, who is staring down the barrel, eye to eye with this guy, making googly eyes. Obviously, she wasn't flirting with him. She was just connecting with him. But those eyes are still googly. And she's smiling and she's grooving. I can't imagine something that would make him more terrified than that. Now, again, maybe it helped him, but Luke shaking him, Lionel standing and walking around randomly like he does every season. He went for it and he let it go and he was going for it. Did he look awkward? Yes. Do I care? Absolutely not. I would rather you go for it and look awkward than be stiff and just not take the direction that the judges are trying to give you. All that being said, I like Trenton. I don't think he's ready vocally at all, to be honest. I think he's probably going to get cut first in Hollywood Week, which is not a bad thing. To go and audition for American Idol, to have that incredible experience with the judges, to get googly eyes from Carrie Underwood as you sing to her, and then to fly to LA and stay there for free and meet all these unbelievable people and then actually get a chance to sing in the first round of Hollywood Week and experience it all and then get cut and go home. That's a heck of an experience and a ride. And he got televised, which is awesome. This might be the juice that gives him the confidence and the drive to really go for it. That's my thought. I don't think he's going to go very far at all. I think he's going to get cut first, but I like him and I'm rooting for him in his career. And I hope you root for this show. I hope you root for, as in the Idol Breakdown, the YouTube thing, American Idol too, but for this show. The only way this gets promoted is you talking about it, word of mouth, or sharing it. So when you see these, if you want to copy the link, put share, then copy the link, and then post it on your Instagram, go on your Instagram story, hit the little square button and add a link, and then put this link. That's the stuff that's actually going to make us grow, as well as liking the video, and that would be greatly appreciated. Then we've got Canadians, 3 of them. And I love Canada because I'm the Dean of Music at Canada Christian College, by the way, which is still crazy for me to say out loud. So I'm in Canada all the time. Still live in Nashville, but I'm up there in Ontario all the time. And can confirm that they call beanies toques. Not toots, but toques. So we've got Cal.
That's still hurting.
Oliver.
Baby, don't waste your time.
And Sarah.
Carry myself a little different.
Cal and Oliver, they sound great. But Sarah, there was a connection there. When she was singing, they just showed seconds of her. And the unfortunate part is, just a little spoiler alert, I'm guessing this, I don't know anything, but almost every time, maybe every time, they show itsy bitsy pieces of singers in their audition, just little things. It's usually a sign they don't go very far because they kind of want to make you fall in love with the people that are going far and end up going far in Hollywood, and they'd show you more of that. These little pieces are people that are typically really good but didn't go very far. And I hope that's not the case with Sarah. And honestly, Cal was really special too, the Canadian Elvis. But Sarah had some connection in the little bit that they showed of her. Her eyes just came up and she sang, and it was just this magical element of communication. I don't know. Maybe I'm being weird. I like Sarah, and I hope that's not all we get to see of her. Will Carter.
Don't know why it might sound kind of stupid.
We get a lot of Will, we get a lot of B-roll, and he's such a sweet guy. Has a heartbreaking story. Hockey coach so they did a bunch of B-roll where they went to his house, saw the hockey team that he coaches, did all this stuff. So they're investing a lot into him and trying to make us fall in love with him, which they succeed. And it seems like he's someone who's very easy to fall in love with. The melody and the chords that he plays to his song, they are beautiful. I really like them, and it's a good song. The lyric, afraid to chase my dreams with all these demons chasing me, that's a good one. That's a good line. I think his voice is fine. Now again, that's okay, because like I said in the last episode, the best artists, a lot of them aren't the best singers, and the best singers are usually their background singers. So you do not have to be the best singer here. You should be the best artist. And all he's shown us so far is likability, good songwriting skills, musicality, and above average, slightly above average, maybe average. I'd say average voice when it comes to average being a good singer, like a solid singer. And sometimes that's all you need. Often people do a lot with even less than that. So he's got the goods. We'll see if he can keep it going. Yanni.
I've been waiting all day for a Sunday night.
Whoa.
Sunday night.
All right, this one made me mad. She comes in and she's singing Carrie Underwood's Sunday Night Football song. And it's hilarious that she would sing that. But she's murdering. She's crushing it. Her tone, her runs, her resonance, which means just how powerful her voice is and how her vocal cords are resonating. It's so rich. Her pitch is perfect. What I'm trying to say is every element of singing is portrayed 10 out of 10 here. All of it. You got a great voice, shows just a touch of rasp at the end on her last note, and Luke says no. Brother, this is not one of those opera singers. This is not one of those, oh wow, this is cool. I don't know if you realize this is a monster singer who's singing something that's kind of funny, but she's murdering it, and she's being incredibly clever and creative and brave to go for it, and she freaking pulled it off, dude. And it's not far off in left field. Open your mind. Open your ears. She's fantastic. So she barely makes it through. Lord have mercy. I would have lost my mind if she didn't make it. She's as good as anyone of the episode. I mean, she's like flawless. I didn't even know the song was Sunday Night Football until she literally said, living for Sunday Night Football, whatever the giveaway line is. At first, I'm like, why are they laughing? She sounds amazing. Clara.
Not to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age.
From Monroe, Louisiana. Really cool voice. Very charming. You kind of fall in love with her the moment the camera sees her and she starts talking. She's like, welcome to my humble abode. And it's just adorable. She's in Monroe and she's so authentic. And she says, I made note of this. She said, I'm the girl in the bar in the corner with a guitar or something like that. Maybe that was not as good as she said it. But I was like, okay. And then she started singing. I was like, oh, yes, she is this good old country girl, loves hunting, fishing, doing stuff in Monroe, and has a thick accent. But she seems to be very experienced, super cool rasp and tone. The only problem was after her singing, she started to talk and her voice was raspy, like rough. And that is typically an indication of not singing properly. When you try rasp, you can typically tell if someone is singing in a healthy way by how their talking voice sounds after they sing that way. She sounded rough, which tells me, okay, she sang for 90 seconds there, probably had good night of sleep night before. Hollywood week, you're going to be singing a lot. You're going to be under a lot more stress. You're going to have a lot less sleep. Then what? And it makes me nervous. I actually get really nervous about that. So I hope I'm just totally wrong. And like, no, that's how she sings. And she always sings like this. After all, she sings in a bar for probably hours, is what it sounded like. She knows how to do it. She's experienced, is what I'm telling myself. But I'm just telling you, when I heard her speaking voice after singing like that, I got nervous. Santina.
I don't wanna be next to you.
Good for her. Sounded amazing. And then weathered the storm that is Luke Bryan attacking her, trying to take away her violin that is mic'd to her. And she didn't miss a note. Just kept going the whole time. I was like, here, take it. You'll find it's attached to me. Thank you. I'll take it back. Singing the whole time, not missing a note, perfect pitch, ripping, and then takes the violin and crushes. I don't know if you guys have heard the average violin player. They don't sound like that. Her tone and the pitch was perfect. Perfect. And pitch on a violin is really, 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 really hard because there are no frets. So on a guitar, you can see these little metal bars. These are frets. So if I put my finger here, that's the note. If I move it up here, it's the same note. Because this string is hitting this metal bar, and that's where it locks off, whether my finger's here or here. And it gives you the same note. Violin didn't have any of those frets. And so if my finger is here or here, it's a completely different sound. So your finger's gotta be perfect. And that's usually how you tell the difference of a really good violin player and an average one or a really bad one. And she is excellent. Are there a lot of opportunities for her to sing and play violin? She can make them. She sounds like that, as far as I'm concerned. Malik.
When the night keeps you from sleeping, just will see that I will be ready.
Buddy. Woo! I am worried because they didn't show a lot of him. But man, his tone and his dynamics and his runs, pushing, and then just taking his foot off the gas pedal just the right amount, was so tasteful, so wonderful. Reminds me a lot of my buddy Rayvon, who was 4th place on my season, was my roommate the whole way through. Sounds a lot like him. I think Rayvon was the best singer of our season, and this guy sounds a lot like him. Kelly.
You say that you can.
She sings Unaware by Alan Stone. Right when I heard the first chord and her sing, every day, I was like, wait, this is going to be great. Great song, a singer song, and she sings it. And I like her vibe. I think she does well. But there wasn't anything extra there for me. There wasn't anything really spectacular there for me. It was just a really good song choice and a really cool vibe that she just gives off naturally. But I wasn't blown away by this one. Lillian.
You really love me.
Okay. At first, I'm thinking, oh, look, another opera singer or like gimmicky contestant singing this perhaps, and very dramatic and theatrical. And then she gets to chunking away. I don't know if it's the chorus, but the next section of the song, she gets going. I'm like, oh, ew, this is nice. Oh, cool. Oh, good chord. Oh, she sounds great. She's crushing. I'm like, would I listen to a concert of her for 75 minutes? Yeah. I think I would. I'm really into this. So is it different? Yeah. Is it like, is her tone like theatrical and weird and quote over the top? Who knows where the top is? The top is really up to you. And for me, it was over the top of convention. what I'm used to. Was it over the top of taste and entertainment and communicating the story? No, I was very much into it. So kudos to Lillian, and I just hope she goes crazy, wins the whole thing. Can you imagine what she would have to do to win the whole thing? How awesome her performances would be? So be it. Samantha.
You never lose your sense of wonder. You get your face, keep that hunger.
Jeez, bro. She picked a great song. If you can pick a song that murders the listener in the first line, you should do that with auditions. She sang the first line of that song. Immediately I was like, I'm yours. I'm melted. You could literally beatbox the rest of your audition and I'd be down. Like, you'd go through. Tone, pitch, everything was great. Now, the best part of her audition was the first 15 seconds with those first 2 or 3 or 4 lines. And then everything else was good. But buddy, when she just opens up, sold, bro. Sold. She might be the best country singer. Of all the country singers we've heard, I'm not thinking of all of them in my head, so maybe I'm missing somebody. I can't think of anybody who sounded better than that. Our last contestant is Kanan.
Is what I need.
Oh, this is going to be a problem.
I need it.
Okay, let's talk about Kanan. Was he the most talented singer of the show, of the episode? Yes. Did he have the biggest range and the best tone? He had both of those things. There seems to be, however, typically a cap on unbelievably talented, supernatural gospel singers on American Idol. They're awesome. We lose our minds, and then they get voted off at top 16. They can do everything in the world. We fall in love with them, and then they get voted off. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, yes, his tone is fantastic. He can give you the soft. He can give you the big, like blow the roof off, make you want to run a lap, literally. He can run. He's got rasp. He has he's the smooth but powerful, I think Carrie said. His tone's a 10 out of 10. His delivery is a 10 out of 10. His technique, his mixed voice, all that stuff, 10 out of 10. Are they just going to get our hopes up for America to just break our hearts when it comes to live voting? I hope not. He gets a platinum ticket. That was a clear choice for me. Now, I will say, everything he does is a 10 out of 10, especially his delivery. When his eyes are open, he's so earnest and he's just looking straight ahead. Absolutely fearless. He's 17 years old. Fearless. And just delivering the song feels like he has zero nerves whatsoever. Just totally confident in what he's called to do and is doing it. However, he was getting away with some notes that were going squirrely because he sounds so good. No one's going to go, hey, you're missing that note. Because who cares? He sounds unbelievable and he's one of the best singers maybe you've ever heard. But I'm telling you, if he can get some of those runs, the notes in the runs to be intentional and on target, where he could sing them slowly, note for note, and it would sound good with the chord and with what's going on, instead of almost like ghost noting, which is like not a specific note, it's just kind of notes thrown up here, but they sound so good, we just let it happen. If he doesn't settle for that stuff and gets real melodic and intentional with his runs that he chooses, then you have Smokey Norfolk. Except, I mean, I could make an argument that this guy has more natural talent, more qualities at 17 than maybe Smokey Norfolk did at 17, or shoot, maybe he does ever. And he's one of the greatest singers of all time in gospel. So I don't know about Kanan. I know this. I know he's a monster. He's one of the best singers of the season. I also know that these wonderful, incredible singers usually don't do great on American Idol. We'll see. But I would love for him to dial in those extra notes, and then we could really see a a superhero. When I mention these courses, I have online courses that go over music theory for people who want to learn piano and understand music and chords in a way that's really, really, really simple. Kind of like teach it to me like I'm 5. It's kind of what I do. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have vocal foundations, like I talked about earlier. Those are the things, the 30-minute lesson course. And it's just on all the little things that are instant fixes, easy fixes that make a huge difference. It's probably my most popular course. And then I've got runs. When I'm talking about style and vowel shifting and doing different runs, this is on how to do those things. And I promise it's actually much, 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 much easier than you think to go, hey. Very easy stuff. I promise. It's on the course. If you take it and you're like, nope, this is not easy. This is really hard. You just ask and I'll just give you your money back. No questions asked. Okay? All things considered, make sure as we are watching the show and we're commenting and we're giving our thoughts and opinions, it is really not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, who at least at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst fails while daring greatly. We got another episode tomorrow, so don't go anywhere. God willing, we will have a live stream that starts right now. I'm on YouTube's freaking platform browser, and it's the live streams when I try to go out in advance is not working. So hopefully this one will work. If not, look in the chat. I'll make a new one, and then I'll send a new link, okay? So if you're watching this as a premiere, you can click the link that I'm putting in the chat right now, and you can hop on over and do the live Q&A. How do live Q&As work? You may ask. Maybe you didn't. Here's the answer anyway. If you're a member, you can ask any question you want, and I'll answer it. If you're not a member, that's okay. You can just send a super chat and then have your question in that super chat, and I'll answer that question. If you want to be a member and don't have to worry about the super chats every time, want to ask you as many questions as you want, then you can just hit the join button underneath this video. It's also on my channel, okay? Okay, see you tomorrow.